Hi everyone, Tom here for Hidden Beats, and today we have Danielle Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. For new listeners in that, do you want to give a little intro about yourself and your music?
Oh, these always kill me. A little braggy thing here. I'm Danielle Ryan. I sing country music. I've done it since I was like in eighth grade, and yeah, I just like to make music and send it out to people.
Nice.
Mhm.
So, how did you actually get started in music?
I grew up doing like theater and those types of things, church choir, stuff like that. I always really, really loved performing. And then when I was like going into eighth grade, I was like, you know what? I think I can be Taylor Swift. I want to do that. So I started writing songs, and yeah, like she was kind of the inspiration behind it. Started writing songs, taught myself how to play guitar, and then opportunities just kind of kept coming up, more contests, more just things, and I never sat down to be like, I don't want to do this, so I always just kept doing it.
No, that's good. And
Yeah,
it seems like you have a pretty strong work ethic.
I hope
And
so.
well, so does that come from family upbringing and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm, so our like weekends, I remember every Saturday morning like dreading waking up because there'd always be a list on the kitchen counter. And my parents would be like out running errands, and me and all my siblings would have categories of things we had to do, like cleaning out chicken pens or goat pens or whatever we had to do that day. So yeah, definitely lots of responsibility always. And then we get pets too, like rabbits and things like that. So it was there's always like responsibilities and things we were expected to do.
hmm So, what inspired you other than Taylor? Like, was it the idea of trying to make a song for someone that would touch them? What inspired you fully to get into music other than just Taylor Swift?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to write my own stories, and that's kind of what it stemmed from. And then I wasn't a good singer at all. I was very bad, and I kind of just latched onto the idea of songwriting and thought if I can at least do this part, maybe everything else will kind of follow. So I did that, taught myself how to play guitar, so I wasn't just like singing
Mhm.
strangely a cappella for people. And yeah, just kind of went from there. I just really wanted to tell my stories basically, and I ended up liking it, and it ended up becoming like especially when I was in high school, was like, I'm gonna write a song about this. So yeah.
Do you have like a specific process when you're writing a song, brainstorm, or is it kind of topic based?
Not really. I mean, I do a lot of my songwriting now with my brother. I actually do most of it with him. He has like a lot of inspiration and good titles and things like that that he'll come up with and shoot my way. Yeah, sometimes it just comes from a title and being like, okay, well, what would this even look like? And especially when you co-write, like when I write with my brother, it's always really interesting. Like he'll send me something and I'm like, oh wow, this is like where the song's gonna go, and he'll be like, no, I actually had this whole idea. So just opens up this idea of all these different options and stuff. And yeah, I don't think there's a specific process. Like I had a Christmas song, and when I wrote it, I was like, I want musically it to be really strong, and I want it to kind of follow this pattern, and then we put the words in kind of to that. So it's always just different of what the idea is.
Okay. I mean, I know
Mhm.
I've heard a lot of people do different things, so I'm curious about how people come up with music because I don't know if I could.
I know, it's so funny though, because I think that way about other things people do. Like, when I think of a computer, I'm like, how did anyone even like figure out, like, I guess that's how people think of songwriting or music, right? Because I always think that about other things. I'm like, how do you even begin to
hmm
know? And yeah, for music, I don't know that there's a set way, at least not for me. I always just kind of figure it out and rewrite
It's
things, and yeah.
yeah, it's probably the most unique thing you can do because it's personal.
Hmm. Exactly. Like there's a lot of times too that you'll write something out and then you'll be like, no, this could be better. And then you'll redo it again. And how that process goes is always different too. Sometimes I'm laying on the floor for like 8 hours being like, this song will never be better. And so, yeah, it's always different. Sometimes it's awful, sometimes it's great.
Well, I mean, obviously you're doing something right. One of the notes I wrote down is about your semifinal Sirius
Oh,
XM
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
How crazy was that?
And that was pretty cool. Honestly, I didn't want to pay too much attention to it because I feel like you can get so caught up in like the idea of, oh, what if I'm in this contest and how exciting, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't want to think too much about it because I always get myself too hyped. And I got a call and they were like, yeah, you're in the contest. And I was like, oh, wow, great. Because I've applied for it in the past and never got in. So it's like so cool to be able to be a part of it. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's been awesome. I got to record at the warehouse in Vancouver just this week. Actually, we just went down, did that, and I did like a looping video basically and just played
Okay.
everything and did that. Yeah, it was fun.
No, that does sound like fun.
Yeah.
How was, I mean, I ask everyone because we just went through 3 years of COVID. How did you handle COVID?
I don't like to talk about it. Yeah, it was difficult. It was really hard, especially because I'm a server as well. Like that's kind of
Mm,
what I've always done as like a part-time gig, and so that was hit too. So it was just like a big mess of things. But on a positive note, though, like I did get to do lots of like really creative projects, and I had lots of time to work on like so many other things that I probably wouldn't have done. And then also, I guess I realized all the things that I was like, if I had more time, I would do this. I wouldn't do a lot of those things. And I didn't do a lot of those things. And
hmm
I was like, no, we're not doing those things. But yeah, I got to just do like lots of creative things, learned how to do lots of more like, and I hate it, but lots more of like recording my own stuff and mixing my own things, but it stresses me out. But I got to like learn how to do that because literally like no one wanted to hang out with you. So it
Yeah.
was like, let me just figure this out via YouTube. And there's 700 videos with all these different opinions. So yeah,
hmm
it was fun. It
Yeah.
was learning. Yeah.
Lots of different things and doing interviews during COVID. I built this setup kind of randomly piece as I was going through. So if you look back at old interviews, you can see things looking quite a bit different.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome. I love your mic stand. I need one of those. That looks great.
Actually, I want to get a new one of these because this is flimsy for the size of this mic. So I got to get something a little bit more hefty.
Okay. Let me know what you get and then
All right,
tell
I will.
me what it is.
I'm probably gonna go for the Rode PS1 or whatever they're called. They look
Okay.
pretty beefy.
Okay, nice.
And
Good.
same with
That sounds
my
good.
camera stand too. I think my camera actually tilted part way while we were talking because it's so
Oh,
heavy.
yeah, I saw you adjusting it.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah,
Well, the camera I
that's
had
crazy. Yeah,
beforehand was it would cut off every 20 minutes just because it couldn't do video that long. So then
like
half these
overheating
interviews you
type
can
deal.
see like a dead spot with me in it, and then I have to flick it back on really quick. So
Oh my gosh.
mhm.
Well, now you've got it sorted. Now you just have a heavy camera.
Yeah.
Stands are too expensive though. It's too much.
Oh
Like
God, I
mine's
know.
breaking. Mine's breaking, and I'm like, let's see how much longer we can do this till I break a lens, I guess.
Which duct tape you can hold it together with, or
Yeah, right.
mhm.
Exactly.
So were you able to kind of, I don't, well, how good was your social media presence with COVID and everything? I know a lot of people were learning new aspects, and I mean TikTok was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, man, TikTok literally got its big break because of COVID. Like
Hmm
maybe they planted it because TikTok literally like blew up because of that. Because I remember being reached out by TikTok being like, "Hey, you want to join our app?" Back when I was like Musically, and I was like, "No,"
Yeah.
and now I'm like, "Oops." But yeah, I love social media personally. I've always loved it. I love just like I love creating stuff and sharing, and yeah, I love that you're a photographer and stuff because that's like I love that. It's something that's actually like become a part just from being part of social media. It's like,
hmm
photography became hand in hand, and then I like found this new passion for something that I probably wouldn't have without it. So yeah, I really love social media and I love connecting with people, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, because social media was always, I was always into it, but TikTok and me just, we haven't meshed yet. I just don't know how
TikTok,
to do that really.
it's because we're so used to Instagram is so curated and so planned out and so beautiful, and then
Hmm
TikTok's just like its own world. And like if you don't spend time on it too, nothing makes sense. Like I remember when I first went on, I'm like, I don't get why this is funny. And then you see 10 more videos with the same
Yep.
sound and you're like, okay, okay, now I'm getting it.
Yeah, that's my wife. She sends me stuff all the time, and I look at it and go, "Oh, okay." Kind of
Like you
sure.
don't notice?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And she gets mad if I don't watch her, like watch the one she sends me specifically. So I'll pile them up about 15 or 20 long, and then she can sit there and explain them to me as we're going through.
Little tutorials.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's funny that way.
that's great.
So one of the big points we're here to talk about is you have an EP coming out.
I do. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
I have no idea. I'm with you. Um, I started working on it actually back in 2020.
Okay.
And the day we were supposed to record it actually was the day that they were like, never mind, we're locking down the whole country.
Mm.
So it got delayed, and then we ended up recording it in the fall. And we worked on it for a really long time actually. And I worked with Brian House on it, who did like some Nickelback, some Simple Plan, like
Hmm.
not really country, but like I love that. He did like a couple Keith Urban songs, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like let's try something new. And he brought my songs to life, and now I finally get to record it. It feels so old to me just because I've had it for so long, but it's going to be new to everybody else. So I'm excited to share those things with them, and get we're going to have a party and celebrate next week, and it
Hmm.
should be good. Yeah.
Is there like a story progression behind the tracks, or is it more just you kind of grab
Um,
the good ones and put them together?
yeah, a bit of that. I mean, when I picked the songs for the EP, I picked them with my brother actually, and we kind of had the intent of it being an album eventually is kind of the goal. So we kind of picked like the songs that we wanted to tell the story of like now, and then, have more to offer later as well. But with the EP, sorry, my dogs are barking. They're
My
distracting me.
dogs do that too all the time, actually. So.
Yeah, they're distracting me. But with the EP, like technically all based off songs that I like. We had so many to pick from because I've been writing since I was a kid, and it was kind of like, okay, well, what's going to be the best for this, or what's going to tell the best story? So went through that and picked them. There's some fun ones. There's some sad ones, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm. The title "Middle of Madness" is that
Yeah.
something interesting behind that?
Middle Yeah, I mean, Middle of the Madness, I actually had the idea to write a song called Middle of the Madness for a long time. And I remember bringing it in to a writer's room once, and this guy was like, no, that's too mature for you. Like, that's not it. And I was like, oh, well, I thought of the idea. So, I mean, obviously it's
Hmm.
not. But I always wanted to write a song with it, ended up writing it. And I actually wrote it with a guy in Nashville named Jimmy Thau, who's like, he's awesome. He's actually from my home province, so it's pretty cool. But um, I feel like it just summed up what's been happening for so long
Hmm.
as well. So I thought it was just like a perfect stamp on there of what it all is. So
Hmm. Is there one track that you're really excited for here?
I think since we kind of release like one song every like 4 or 5 months. So people have heard a few of the tracks. I think there's only three new ones actually from the EP that people haven't heard. So I think the one out of those I'm most excited about is a song called Pretending. And I actually wrote it with Brian House, the producer, and my brother. And my brother had the idea kind of what the song could look like. And then we basically took it in there and rewrote the entire thing and didn't really keep anything that we had. But it turned out great. And like, I was like, I think you should just be like a piano song and just like speak for itself. It's just like, it's called Pretending. And it's just like this sad song of like when you see somebody that you like used to know so well, and then you just sit there and you're like, I'm great. And they're like, yeah, me too. I'm great. But like, it's just this weird concept of like I used to know you so well and know everything about you and your family and stuff.
Hmm.
And after we did the piano on it, I was like, what if we did like an orchestra? And they were like, okay, sure. So we got approved to have a whole orchestra come in and record on this song. So it turned out to be really great. And yeah, that's one that I'm really excited to share.
Nice, that'll be fun. I mean, we got to listen to some of the tracks ourselves on over here, so
Nice.
yeah, I was excited
Amazing.
to hear it for sure.
Yeah, great.
With everything kind of opening back up in the world, is there plans for like tours and live shows everywhere?
Everyone keeps asking this, and I wish I had like a I'm going on tour with Keith Urban type story, but I don't. I'm hoping to get a few gigs and things at the Stampede and stuff like that, hopefully. But honestly, like so is every other country artist in Canada. So
Hmm.
like no one's done anything for the last few years. So everyone's trying to get a spot and it's like highly competitive and I'm just like just riding the wave, whatever kind of comes my way is what we'll do. But yeah, nothing super set in stone just yet.
Do you have like a dream place you'd like to perform?
Um I mean a stadium, sure, but like what like
Well, so is there like a city that you really love that you want to
oh,
show everybody just what you can do, kind of thing?
I mean, I guess you could like dream big and be like, "Oh, I'd love to play like in LA at the stadium there," but like I've never been there. I don't know what it's like. I don't know. I've just heard stories. So, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't I just like to play, honestly. It would be cool to play a huge show like that, but at the same time like I don't know. I just love playing. I love playing for small crowds too. It's really fun. So,
Yeah, just a different feel from a stadium to a more intimate thing for sure.
yeah, I think my favorite concerts that I've been to are the ones that are in the smaller venues and like you'll yell something at them and they'll be like, yeah, and like talk back to you.
Yeah.
I love that. Like there's something so personal about that.
Yeah, we actually do some help promoting and putting shows on. Like I'm based in Ottawa, so I work with
Oh, nice.
a promoter here, and we do a lot of like rock and hip hop shows and small things like that. It's always a different feel because it's so you can just feel the kind of intenseness almost sometimes of everything being so close knit and intimate like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. There's
Hmm.
something beautiful about it.
So I have a few questions that I do ask everybody just because they're fun questions and they make you think a little bit.
Okay, great. Amazing.
So my first one is dream collab. Do you have someone that you'd really love to do a track with?
I hate to say it because people would be like, so Taylor Swift, for sure,
Hmm.
without a doubt. But honestly, like, I feel like anyone, there's so many cool artists and so many people that, like, anyone was to ask, I'd be like, yes, I will be there, you
Hmm.
know? But yeah, I love Taylor Swift, man. She's so cool.
And I mean, she's a great musician, great artist too. So that would be a really cool, like fun experience.
Totally. But then there's also like, everyone always says like don't meet your idols or whatever. So there's that too. I don't know. I'll take what I can get.
I mean, so I've had that experience actually meeting people I looked up to, and it's been hit or miss sometimes, but for the
Yeah, right?
for the most part, pretty good.
Okay, good.
Hmm. So my next question, this one's a fun one. What is something on your current playlist that people wouldn't expect that you're listening to?
I'm still listening to I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry from like 2008.
I still have some Katy Perry
All the
on my
time. It's one of
playlist.
my
Yeah.
favorite songs. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that it's like literally like 15 years old and I'm still just like going strong. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Most of my playlisting isn't it's all just like songs from high school. I'm not very cool.
I mean, no, everybody has that. I still like I have Linkin Park, things like that, what I grew up with,
Yeah.
and yeah, those are,
Yeah. Like yeah, like I think my husband still listens to Mr. Brightside like once a week.
yeah. Now this one is an interesting one. What is one thing you wish more people would ask in interviews that isn't asked enough?
Oh.
See, I told you it'll make you
I,
think.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I always just think it's like funny that people want to even talk to me and ask me questions about myself. It's such a it's such a strange like scenario when you think about it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like since I'm starting out, everyone's kind of just asking all the questions. So I don't know that there's one that I'm like, oh, I wish they asked me that.
Yeah, I
No, I don't
mean
know.
it's
Yeah,
different
I
for
think
everyone
it's good.
because they have different experiences. So I've had people ask like or say, how's your gardening going or anything like that. It could be
Oh,
random.
yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. There's questions that I don't want people to ask, but I don't have one for that. I'm sorry. I'll think about it. I'll text you.
Okay. So this one's got kind of a two-parter. What is some advice that you've been given in your music progression that you've held on to really tightly?
Um, I remember someone telling me to never settle because you deserve the best, and that's kind of always been a thing. that I've always kind of thought. But yeah, I think that's it. Never settle.
Never settle,
Because
but
I think
that's good.
there's always somewhere we can go. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like I didn't interpret it as like don't be happy. I'm definitely really happy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, in the second part to that, what is advice that you would give somebody that you've learned on the way?
Oh, I mean, um, I think I would say like ask questions. Like don't be afraid to ask questions. And yeah, I think don't be afraid to ask questions because I think there's a lot of times where I've hesitated to ask someone something or like in situations where I should have. So I would just say like ask questions, like everyone's learning and people love to give you their insight as well. Like people do love to talk about like what they've learned. It's not like, yeah, you won't look silly if you ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
better to know ahead of time than like figure it out later in a mess anyways.
Yeah, and there's just yeah, there's lots of times when I just like even ask like musicians like, "Oh, how do you do this?" or "How would you do this?" And like I'm always surprised at like the amount of information they'll give me or like because a lot of people think that everyone like gatekeeps their stuff. But that's not true. I remember like thinking that because I had a few people that maybe didn't want to like give me their insight or help me, but
Mm-hmm.
you'll find good people that will. So, yeah, I'd say just ask questions.
Yeah, I find that actually most people would love to help if you ask questions,
Yeah,
and they want to impart that knowledge on you.
totally. Yeah, like
Mhm.
even just now, like exploring the world of photography, even like I'll reach out to people and like, how do you do this? How do you do this? Hey, will you have a coffee with me? And like, how do I do this? And like, there's so everyone's willing to help. And I think that's in every industry. It's just finding the right people.
I've actually been
Mhm.
looking at. I'm going to be teaching a couple like Twitch streamers how to edit some of
Oh,
their photos and stuff
amazing.
like that, just to
Yeah,
help them out.
that's great.
Mhm. My last question, and it's kind of a, or did I write that down properly? I always write
It's
notes
okay.
and then I never think about it. But
I always write my notes in like such terrible cursive that I go to read it back. I'm like,
yeah,
I
I
don't
just
know.
scribble them down just
Yeah,
horribly sometimes.
yeah.
And it doesn't help too that being distracted by the dog. Like I'm surprised he's sleeping beside me here right now, but usually he likes to interrupt partway through and
Oh
just
yeah.
stick his face in here.
I can like hear mine like sniffing by the door frame right now.
Yeah, my other one doesn't come in this. Like I have my own little office here, so he doesn't come
Yeah,
in here. He doesn't like the small space.
doesn't like the room. Hmm.
Well, so I guess the last real thought I have is where can people find you on social media and everything?
Oh, Danielle Ryan music, I think is every handle. Every
Every
handle is
handle.
Danielle Ryan music. Yeah. My Twitter is Danielle music underscore, but like I rarely attend to that app. I like I had a song come out a couple weeks ago and I had to like tweet out that it was out and I could not even find the like make a tweet button. I had no idea like where it was or that they've moved it. That's an app that I don't keep up with.
Well, you should get one of those the apps that kind of house everything. You can.
Yeah, right? That just will post on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was something. I think it was like I was had to. Somebody told me that somebody said something cool about it, so I had to like respond. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's really bad. I really felt dated in that one. I just remember. I remember, Twitter back when it was like you could only write what was it like 160 characters or something silly like that, and now you can just like type up however much you want.
Yeah, it started at
It's a
like
whole different world.
60 and then they jumped it to 140 and now you can add, I think it's called a twit longer where you can write a freaking story in there. And
Yeah, yeah. I don't like. I don't know. It's been a while.
that's one I haven't really touched either, actually. I just kind of, when I'm doing all my posts, I have one that connects to Twitter, so I don't have to actually do anything with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. I feel you. I
Hmm.
have like all my Instagram links to Facebook because Facebook's always the one I forget about too when I like
Hmm.
share things. But
Yeah, I have to do that to my website still. It's annoying.
it actually like the Facebook one kills me because everyone's sending me screenshots now because I just linked it up like in the last 6 months. And everyone's getting notifications that they're super fans of my page now because I'm actually like posting on the Facebook and I thought it was so funny. I was like, that's amazing that that exists.
I didn't even know what a super fan was for a while until I started seeing some of these weird badges and things pop up.
Yeah,
And
you get like awarded. It's like
yeah,
congrats for liking. Yeah,
uh,
it's crazy.
well, there's always something to learn, anyways. But yeah, I mean, that's
Totally.
pretty much all the time I have, or all the stuff I have for you here. I can't really think of
Sure.
anything else. Is there any
No,
last
that's great.
thoughts that you want to toss out there in the world?
No, I mean, my EP comes out on the 22nd, so
Hmm.
pre-save it or don't, or I hope you listen to it eventually. And yeah, I hope you like it. And if you like it, let me know because I never know what people think. And it's
Hmm.
always nice to hear. Like, if you hate it, tell me too, I guess. I'll just block you though.
I think we're going to release this video on the 22nd, just so it
Oh,
kind of
amazing.
can pair with everything. So it'll be a good combination. But
Okay,
yeah, it was a
cool.
pleasure talking with you.
Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it,
Mhm.
honestly.
And
Mhm.
I definitely hope you come back, and when you have some new stuff, we'll talk again
Yeah,
and make it.
sure thing. Thanks so much. It's so nice to see you.
All right, you enjoy the rest of. I guess it's almost like a long weekend now. These out here.
It is. Yeah, we're getting
Mhm.
there. Almost.
I still got to
All
work
right.
though.
Good luck.
All right,
Good
have a
luck
good
with
one.
your merch too, eh?
Yeah, that should be fun. I'll send you a link after so you can take a look.
Yes, please. That'd be great. Thanks, Tom.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.